Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel or welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to give you guys a basic tutorial about simple, easy to do macros. So what are macros? You've never heard of macros, or maybe you've heard of them. What are they? They're basically, you can do 2 actions or more with a simple click of one button. So it's incredibly useful to save, to be more responsive, maybe to possibly improve your gameplay with certain abilities and spells you use, and when you use them, certain situations that come up to use macros. So let me get this straight, let me get this out of the way. You do not need macros. But like I said before, you can possibly improve your gameplay by incorporating macros into your game style of play. And so what I want to let you guys to do, listen to what I have to say. I'm going to go on my mage first, then I'm going to go and show you some combat macros. Then I'm going to go on to my druid, show you a little bit more defensive macros, and then finally paladin, which I'm going to show you some mouse over healing macros. So bear with me, no pun intended, and we're going to start off with my mage. Okay guys, this is my mage Frieza. Now in my previous video I did a video on key binding, a basic tutorial on key binding, and I created a mage from level 1 and I showed you some key binding. Well, this is my actual mage and he's all key binded out. For the most part, I still need a lot of work on him. I don't go on him much, just to farm and things like that. But I want to show you these macros that I've been talking about. So how do we get to the macros? There's 2 ways of getting them. You can type /m, just hit /m, and it pops up the macro screen just like that. Or you press escape and you can see macros right underneath the key bindings. Macros. Either way, whatever you're comfortable with, go ahead and do, but that's how you get to the macro settings. So now these are all general macros. So, and there's 2 tabs. There's your character specific macros, which I deleted all mine so I can show you how to create them. And it's a step-by-step so you're not overwhelmed or feel rushed. And these are all the general macros. And a lot of these macros are say macros. So for example, this one, I titled it ads, and the description or the command for this macro is /rw, and then what I want to say, bring ads to tanks please. So that /rw is a raid warning. It's short for raid warning. So what it does is I can bring this down here, put it right here, and if I was in a raid, I'm not obviously in a raid, it would do the command for me, so I wouldn't have to continue to type it out. So let's get into the actual spell macros though. This is way more important. So our first macro is going to be a macro that's sort of useful for, you're going to do a say macro and then you're going to do a cast macro. Well, it's all going to be in the same macro. It's all going to be in the same, I should say, code, but it's all going to be in the same macro. Enough of me talking. Let me do it, and I'll show you guys how it works. So, how to create the macro? We're going to go down here to New, click on New, and we're going to we're going to title it. We're going to say, let's see, we'll title this one Counterspell. Okay, that's going to be our interrupt. Okay, Counterspell. And it doesn't matter how you type it in, the title, that's fine. A counterspell, that's okay. And you can see counterspell is in my 7 spot for my keybind. Now, I'm in the enter macro commands right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in, the first thing I'm going to type in is show tooltip. Show tooltip. And what that does, it's a hashtag show tooltip. And what that does is, instead of trying to look for the icons and stuff, it's automatically going to bring up the spell icon without you searching for it. So you can see you can change the name and icon, but there's so many different icons in here. It's going to take you forever to find it. That's what the show tooltip is for. And I'll give you, and let me create the rest of the macro for you guys. So remember what I was saying about the say macros? So this is, we're going to create a say macro, and you can say whatever you want. Like we're going to keep it simple. I'm going to put it all in caps so people around me know that I'm doing a spell. I'm casting counter spell. So people know that you're about to interrupt something. Okay? And I spelled 2 S's. We only need 1 there. So, and I put it in all caps. Just that's, you can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter for a say macro. Now, in order for me to cast the actual ability counter spell, I need to put /cast, and I gotta make sure the counter spell is spelled correctly. I don't need to put that in caps there. I got to make sure that whatever spell I'm initiating into this macro, I got to make sure it's capitalized correctly and lowercase and spelled correctly. So how it's spelled in the interface, it's capital C, and then lowercase OUNTERSPELL, counterspell. Okay. Now we're all done with this macro. So we're going to save this macro. Watch when I save it. It's going to automatically change from the question mark, because I have this hashtag show tooltip, to counterspell. Okay. So I know that I have a regular counterspell in my 7th slot. I'm going to click this and drag it down and replace that one. So now you can see the wording here. That's going to be a macro, counterspell. I know that's a macro now, not just a regular spell. It's a macro. So I'll make sure I saved it, right? Now, I'm going to click a mob, right? We're going to click the Earth and Destroyer. Now we're going to pretend he's casting an ability, right? He's casting an ability. Now I'm in close enough where I can reach him. Now I'm going to press the 7th key, which is my keybind for the new macro I have installed. And I'm going to press it once and watch. So I'm casting counterspell, and I casted I casted it. So that's what the macro does. It says you're casting counterspell, and you casted it, and you can see the cooldown ticking. So you made it successful. You made a successful macro. Congratulations, that's your first macro. Now, if you're on another class, say you're on a rogue, well, you don't have counterspell on the rogue. You have kick to interrupt people's spells and abilities on a rogue. So all you have to do is erase counterspell and put in kick. So for example, I'll put in kick like that, casting kick, and then you just cast kick. And that's all you have to do if you're on a warrior, if you're on a rogue or whatever. As long as you spell that ability correctly and capitalize on lowercase correctly. So please remember that. Okay, so all I did was press cancel, and I went back to my original macro. Okay, so let's move on to the next macro. So we're gonna same thing. We're gonna put a new macro. That macro is already saved in your specific character macros, right? So it's not clouding up your general macros. So let's see what else. How about ice block? Let's do ice block. So we're going to title this one ice block. Ice block. And press OK. And we're going to enter in, let's see. So let me explain why I'm making this macro first. So when you cast ice block, it's, what is it? Jog my memory a little bit. Cases you in a block of ice, and it's at 10 seconds. So you can be in ice block for 10 seconds, right? But what if you want to, okay, like I'm done being ice block. I don't need to be in ice block for 10 whole seconds, correct? And you know that on the top right of your buff and debuffs area up here, on the top right of your screen, is where that buff or debuff is ticking down or ticking up, whatever. And you sometimes, well, all the time, if you want to get out ice blocks quick, you need to right click that buff or debuff and to actually get out ice block, right? And that's kind of annoying. You got to go all the way up and then do a clicking motion, and it takes time out of your gameplay. And the whole point of macros is getting rid of that. Okay, so you can be as quick as you possibly can with whatever situation you're into. So this is what the following macro is going to do. You're going to click this macro once. It's going to cast ice block, and when you're done being in ice block, you're going to click it again, and it's going to get out of ice block without you going all the way up to the top right and clicking it off. So it saves precious seconds. You don't need to do this, but I think it slightly improves your gameplay. Let's go in and make this macro so I can actually show you guys what I'm talking about. So what you're going to do to initiate this macro, to perform that, what we were just talking about, you're going to put the slash, you're going to put cancel aura all together. It's got to be all together. Cancel aura / cancel aura all together. And you're going to put the move, capital I, lowercase c, space, capital B, lowercase lock, ice block. Then you're going to press enter. And you're going to / cast ice block. Okay. And I forgot to show the tooltip. So that was my bad. So if you want the actual ability icon, you got to remember it's almost a given. This is what you almost do with every macro, unless there's no cast, there's no ability that's going to be in your macro. If you're doing a say macro, whatever, if you're spamming something, but always put the show tooltip when you're dealing with abilities. So you show tooltip, enter / cancel aura, ice block, and then enter, then / cast ice block. So we're going to save it. Boom, it pops up with my icon with the ice block. So I have my ice block as the E button. So I'm going to drag my macro, put it over my regular normal ice block, and you can see that since the wording, the title says ice block, well, I know that's a macro now. So what this is going to do is going to cast ice block first, and then it's going to cancel, and then when I hit it again, it's going to cancel my ice block so I can continue to do whatever I want to do. I don't have to wait in there for 10 seconds. Okay, so let's try it out. All right, we got a Hordy coming after me or whatever, or he popped his cooldowns, and it's like a 4-second crit buff for him. So I automatically pop my ice block, and as you can see up here, it's ticking. But all right, 5 seconds, 4 seconds, I hit it again, it cancels it, and I didn't right click it off at all. It cancels it. So I would do it again for you, but it's on a 4-minute cooldown. But you get what I'm saying. It's just quicker. It's quicker to do. I can hit ice block real quick, and then 2 seconds later, boom, hit it again and get ready to pop my next ability. Instead of going up here and thinking about it. I don't have to think about it. I just press the button again. So you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm talking about. It's more responsive. It's quicker. Like I said, it's not necessary to have macros, but you can see how I'm doing things a lot quicker with them by just typing in a few things and replacing the ability with an actual macro. The last macro I'm going to show you guys on my Mage is going to be a focus macro. So what you want to do, so I want my focus, my set focus to be this Earthen Destroyer here. So I'm going to click on his portrait, right click on his portrait here, set focus. So right now I unclicked on him, I untarget him, but my set focus is still there, right? So let's just pretend that in some situation I need a running dot on the Earthen Destroyer for some reason, for a shield or whatever. We'll just, given the circumstances, what I want to show you guys. But my main focus is this Earthen Destroyer here, right up here on the top, and I need to kill him first. And he takes a while to kill, but I want to make sure I have a running dot on the Earthen Destroyer, right? So we want to go back in macros. We want to create a new macro. We're going to title this one Focus Scorch. We're going to use our ability Scorch. So we want to do that slash tag show tooltip. So the Scorch tooltip will show. Then we want to slash cast. This is a long one, so don't get intimidated by it. Just check it out and see if this is going to be useful for you. If it isn't, it's still there. You can use it in the future. So we're going to put brackets up first, then at focus, this is all together, comma, exist, comma, no dead, comma, harm, and then we close the bracket. Then we put another set of brackets together, and then we put the ability, which is Scorch. Now we save it, boom, turns to Scorch icon, and then let's click and drag this down to the number 4. Power Rangers are calling. And so right now I have my macro there. And even though I have Earthen, we're going to click out of this. Even though I have Earthen Soldier targeted, right? I'm doing my beefy moves like Fireball, Fire Blast and stuff, Pyroblast. But I want to have, and you can always separate Scorch, this macro, from another, to another spot here. So you can still Scorch your actual target. But watch, I have, we all know I have Earthen Soldier targeted. But I have my set focus to Earthen Destroyer. So watch this. I'll hit this. So watch where it goes. It goes right onto the Earthen Destroyer. And that's ticking. So I can still target here and kill him and still have this target. So it's incredibly useful for boss fights where, you're focusing the boss, but you want to make sure you're putting a dot up there on another ad or something like that. Maybe to increase your damage or whatever, but still focusing, not losing focus of your primary target. So that's all. There's tons more macros for the Mage class. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show you a site where you can view a bunch of different macros that might be useful to you. So I'm going to go, that was the combat version of macros. Now I'm going to go on my Druid, which is a Guardian Tank, and I'm going to show you a defensive macro or two. Okay guys, I'm logged into my bear. We're on my main Ruffian X, the legendary Ruffian X. We're going to go on /M, back to our macro page. And this macro is a defense macro that I created a long time ago. And so this is a little different from the Mage, since it's more defense. So my bear is a Guardian Druid, and right now he has 2 types of defense cooldowns. One is Bark Skin, which is a 20% increase in your defense, and the other one is Survival Instincts, which is a 50% increase into your defensives. So I figured, like, well, if I know I can stack these, right? So I figured, well, instead of just a 20% increase or just a 50%, well, I know I can stack them. So 5 plus 2 is 77, right? So 70% I have a cooldown for this with this macro. Instead of clicking them separately, I can click them at the same exact time, and they will cast at the same exact time. And so what I did, like we did before, we did the hashtag show tooltip show tooltip, then the cast spark skin. We did /cast sparks. I don't know why I said cast. You can just put cast, and then I guess it works anyway. And /cast survival instincts. Now noticed how I capitalized the S and the I exactly how it is in the spell book. Survival instincts, exactly how it is. So that's important. Spaced out and everything. So the macro would not work. So watch, I have it in my E button. So when I have it set like this, it's going to cast at the exact same time. So take a look at my right hand of my screen. I'm going to cast the macro. Same exact time. Survival Instincts and Bark Skin. The same exact time they cast it. So that's an incredibly useful macro if you're in trouble. It's your oh crap button. Like you're in trouble, you're low on health, you got hit hard. All you had to do is hit one button and you get an immediate, instant 70% defensive cooldown instead of just a 50% or a 20%. You get that immediate 70%, okay? Because you don't have to click it twice. Now say maybe you wanted to click it twice, okay? We're going to give you that option, okay? So we're going to go back in here. We're going to erase this, all right? Erase this. Now show tooltip is fine. We can leave that there. Now if you don't want to cast this at the same time, to cast those abilities at the same time, say you wanted to be able to like click it once and cast the first, say, Bark Skin. You want just to cast Bark Skin because you're trying to like maybe to delay your cooldowns throughout the period of the fight. That's fine. This is the macro you're going to use. So you're going to do a /cast sequence. Okay, so that makes sense, right? Because you're going to be casting these in sequence and not at the same time. So you would do Bark Skin. Spell Bark, so you got to be careful. Bark Skin, comma, Survival Instincts. Okay, and that's all you got to do. You save it. It's saved, right? Now, I'm off cooldown. So beforehand, I had the ability where I only needed to press it once to activate it. Okay, to activate them at both same time, the Bark Skin and the Survival Instincts. With this macro, I'm casting it in sequence. Therefore, I have to press the button 2 times. So, I only want Bark Skin. I just want it Bark Skin. So as you can see, I spelled sequence wrong, so that it did not work. See, it's not working. Oops. I need an E in sequence. I'm pretty sure I spelled it right. So we're going to try this again. We're going to save it. But you see, that's a mistake, and you can see how it doesn't work. So I'm going to cast the first one, and I'm spelling something wrong here. Cast sequence. Okay, now I spelled it correctly. So I casted out Bark Skin. Oh, maybe that's not still doing the job. I'm going to cast Survival Instincts now. Okay. So Survival Instincts has two cooldowns, and Bark Skin only has 1. So you can see it coming back up again. So that's my bad. See, I messed up 2 times because I can't spell cast sequence. I couldn't spell sequence correctly, so it wouldn't work. So you gotta be wary of that. So now you can use this for a warrior tank, a paladin tank, demon hunter, death knight, doesn't matter. You can do the same macros with their different abilities. So you can cast it in sequence, or I like to just have that old crab button, and I just like to have it in the cast, just to cast right after each other. So once again, cast Bark Skin. I change it back to if I wanted to cast at the same time, and cast Survival Instincts. Survival Instincts. Okay. So that's the defensive abilities you can use for macros. That makes you just that much quicker. It's not necessary, but it does, in my opinion, improve your gameplay and awareness and responsiveness that much quicker. So another quick macro. This is more of a kitty icon, a kitty macro. But say like, oh man, I got horde coming after me. I need to get in stealth quick, and I'm panicking right now. I don't have prow and keybind. I should have it, but right now I'm gonna click it. So and I'm going to panic click it, okay? Watch what happens when I panic click it, okay? I pop right out of Proud because I'm panic clicking it, as you can see. So how there's a macro that actually that helps you deter that. And here's the macro here. So we're going to go on Ruffian specific. I already made it, and it's not very hard to make, okay? All right, close up in here. Show tooltip, once again, and you slash cast space exclamation point prowl, the ability. Okay, so you saw how I was panic clicking, right? Oh, I got popped out right away. I popped out. So I'm going to take this macro, drag it down here, put it in place of the regular ability, and watch what happens. I'm panic clicking, okay, right? I didn't break stealth, right? A very simple but highly useful macro that could save your life. Could save your life in the game if you're trying to get away from horde or whatever, or maybe you're trying to pass by a mob real quick you didn't see, and see I'm clicking it, and it's not breaking me out, right? So, and if I key binded that, same thing. I'd be clicking the key binding and it wouldn't break me out. So it's an incredibly useful macro to have. So that's all the ones I have on the Druid. There's plenty more on the Druid. I don't want to overwhelm with you guys. Like I said, I'm going to give you a site at the end of this video. We're going to switch over to my Paladin, and then I'm going to give you that site. Okay guys, we're here at my Holy Paladin right now, and I like to heal on this guy. So he's my healer of choice. Now, there's certain add-ons, so like HealBot, that will mouse over your, if you mouse over a target, right? So I moused over Delapine from Dalaran, and I actually have some macros set up that all I had to do is mouse over her. I don't click on her. You can see that this is me clicking on her, okay? That's me click on her. I'm going to unclick her, and I'm just going to mouse over her frame here. And you can see by the healing, I'm actually healing her. Healing her with Holy Shock, healing her with Flash Heal, and I'm not clicking on her at all. So it's real quick. And why? You know, why do I can just click on her and heal, fine. And you can, that's okay. But clicking, like I said, it's microseconds. You're faster with just mousing over a target. And if she was in your party, you would be able to mouse over the frames of your party here on the left side and just simply mouse over and click these abilities, right? So I just think it's so much easier and quicker to do rather than just clicking and then casting your ability. When you can just click, oh, she just left. So you just click and you can heal the guard or whatever. So usually there's a lot of people here. But there's nobody here. I'm gonna have to click on some NPCs here. But you can see how easier it is instead of just clicking it. Then it just saves you that much more time. So enough with the talk. How do I make this macro? So I have the Holy Shock and Flash of Light done already. I erased my Holy Light, and I'm going to make macros for my other guys, but Holy Light is, I'm going to show you guys how to make the Holy Light macro. And it's the same macro like we have here. Okay. So we're going to create new. We're going to put this one as Holy Light. And it's going to be our mouse over macro. Okay, for healing. I think, like I said, it's a highly useful macro in my opinion. So we're going to say show tooltip, handy dandy show tooltip, so we don't go searching for the icon in the macro section. Then we're going to press enter, then we're going to cast, and then we're going to press the space bar, and then we're going to bracket. We're going to type in target. Then we're going to say equals mouse over. That's what we want to do. We want mouse over stuff. Then we close the bracket. Then we hit space, and then we press our ability. We type in our ability, Holy Light. Holy Light. Perfect. And we save. Boom. Goes right to the Holy Light icon, just like the previous ones. basic stuff, guys. Don't get intimidated by this stuff here. Okay? So now, instead of my regular holy light, right? So where I have to, so I'm gonna mouse over this guy, right? Master Wood. I'm gonna try to, heal him with my regular, and it's not working, right? It's just going right to me. Now I'm gonna put holy light here. I would have to click on him and then press holy light. So I want to show you guys how much faster I am with the macro. So okay, I want to heal Master Wood, right? So I click on him and cast holy light. Okay. Now I'm going to untarget him, and I'm going to put holy light here in my actual main bars. Mouse over, boom. See how fast? Just that much faster. That much faster. Boom. Or like, so I'm looking over this girl here. I don't know if I can target her or not. Yeah, I can. And I hold her immediately. So, and that's all you got to do. Simple macros. Okay? And that's what I really want to show you. I wanted to get the healer. I wanted to get the DPS perspective. I want to show you guys the defensive tank perspective. And then the healer perspective of simple, basic macros. There's more advanced macros out there. I didn't want to really get into it. But you guys can figure it out. And maybe down the road, if you guys want me to do an advanced macro video, we can do that. I'm kind of waiting for Shadowlands, because sometimes your macros might change or might not, depending on how advanced they are and what abilities they involve with them. So I want to show you guys, before we end this video, I want to show you guys a site. It's called, I'm going to bring it over here. It's called Skill Capped. Okay. And there's a bunch of macros. You can go in here for macros for everybody. There's a bunch of macros that people have suggested and things like that. So we go into the warrior macros. See, there's a warrior macro for charge, and this says last updated May 1st, 2020. So this is recent. So you do that hashtag show tooltip, you cast charge, then you cancel Aura the Blade Storm. So it's something that you want to cancel your Blade Storm and charge right away. You can do that. It's just they're little things that add up to a much better play style for everyone. So I was excited to show you guys this macro video today, and I hope this helps you guys out. Like I said, it's not necessary, but it does help if you get used to it. If you practice with it, just like my previous key binding video. If you just practice with it, you can see how much it does help. So please give it a shot. If it's not for you, it's not for you, but I believe it will help. So thank you for watching. If you guys have any suggestions or comments, leave them down below, and I'll definitely look at them and respond to you guys. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Adios.